today we're on a freshly delivered 2023 Centurion FI23. This one here is in silver metal flake and black, elegant tan interior. So today I'm doing a PDI, but also kind of going to go through some do's and don'ts that can help save your weekend, or kind of pre-inspect what to look for before you launch for the weekend. And also, while we're on this specific boat, I'm going to take the time in the way that we at Upstate Marine kind of set up our surf from left and the right side. This is what we've found to be the most efficient on the water. We can pretty much effectively start surfing from launch in about 3.5 minutes, realistically. As far as I know, that's the fastest filling ballast system on the water and a class-leading wave and weight. It's very impressive. I would put this boat against any boat in its category in that price range, from surf wave, wakeboarding, and even skiing. Let's get started. So like I said, today we're on a 2023 Centurion FI23. You know, we have transom seating in the back. So we have our slide seat with a lean back that we all became accustomed to love. Most times we'll put our cooler right here, so it's convenient as a step down and convenient for everybody in your midship cabin. Your pop-up slide seats for facing back and watching people do their water sports. And one of my favorite options in this boat is your so long bimini. So I can put this bimini up, one person, there we go, perfect. Why FI versus RI? So that's the main two models Centurion currently offers. The RI being the flagship and the FI coming in slightly less than the RI when it comes to budget. So what is an FI? So the FI is the model that's considered the most versatile model in the Centurion lineup. So what I say by more versatile? A little bit less freeboard, it's a little bit more ski friendly, still class leading wakes and waves from the surf and wakeboard side, and personally probably the easiest one to dial in. Typically my baseline settings is good for 90% of the people, and we're about to show you that with some of our Ramfill and our personal Upstate Marine surf settings and how easy it is. Alright, so we're ready to start surfing, right? So I'm going to go to my top right of my right screen, and I've got a lot of different profiles, and 3 that I've personally made just for today. This boat has right at 1 hour on it, so I'm going to go in and start dialing in some of my profiles. The first one I'm going to introduce to some of you will be called, we call it Ramfill Fill. And what that is the way to ensure that your Ramfill system fills to maximum capacity. So I've got my speed at 14.5 miles an hour, my ram port and my ram starboard at 100%. And I'm going to go ahead and start filling my rear plug and play just because they're the biggest. And while we're moving, they will fill up a little bit faster. So I have it set at 60%, because by the time Ramfill is done, they'll be close to that anyway. And I also put my center tab at 60. That way we keep our bow down and it doesn't obscure our vision while we're doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and press activate, and we are ready to go. The cool thing about this, like I'm just leaving the marina out of a no wake zone. So by the time I get to my surfing spot where it should be out in the open, not next in coves, not next to docks, I'm going to cruise this speed anyway. We got to get our ropes out, our boards out, whatever we need. And by that time, like right now, I'm already 50% full. So in the time that I'm ready to get to my spot, I'm practically already full of ballast. Pretty cool. All right, so right now my Ramfill's 100%. I saw it overflow both my sides, and I'm already making a wave. That is surfable for most people. All right, so we just finished up our Ramfill fill profile. I'm gonna go up here, press Surf left and activate. Basically what that will do is dial in every ballast location. What I have it specifically set for surfing port side. In this case, I've got most of my ballast at 100%, a little bit of offset. That's just what I like in my surf waves. And I've already got my surf tabs and my center plate, which adjusts my bow height, where I want a good 20-foot wave, solid lip, flat top, smooth transitions, and let's see what it looks like. And that's a class leading wave. So you got a good transition, no trough at the bottom, solid lip, as you can see, great push to the backside. That's about a 25 to 20 foot surfable wave for a guy my size, no gimmicks. You know, a lot of people like to show a 150-pound person surfing about 25 feet back. You know, I'm 260 pounds. You know, I have to have what I call a true wave. And you know, that's hard to beat right there. One feature that is one of my favorites that Centurion has is called Quick Launch. So what quick launch does is keep your bow low by putting both outside tabs down, especially while we're ballasting. You know, we're holding about 5,300 pounds, we're heavy, right? So now we're gonna get on plane, get ready for wakeboarding, and help us get on plane with ease. So one thing, gradually start killing the throttle and turning the steering wheel at the same time. So I'm back in neutral, hands off. As you can see, the wave is naturally going to spin the boat around. So it does two things, right? Not much drama on the boat, and two, the wave pushes back in the direction where the rider fell. So it saved time, it saved waves and everything hitting the docks and shoreline, and we're heading back to pick up the rider in a safe and efficient way. So one of the most common things that can ruin your weekend is an overheating situation. A couple quick things that you can do to kind of prevent that from happening, or two, know what to check for first. Maybe it could be something simple. So typically anything over 185 is starting to get warm, especially on a closed cool motor like this. So say that happens to you, right? The first thing I'm going to check is your raw water strainer. So I'm going to slide our slide seat in what I call the service compartment. So I'm going to lift this up, and your raw water strainer is right below the lid. Now Lake Kiwi is one of the cleanest lakes that we have in this area, but there's a lot of lakes, especially with all the rain that we've had, that has a lot of debris floating or grass or whatever you may be picking up, and I've seen this get clogged, and that can be an easy fix. So with the motor off, look at your strainer, looks mucky, looks dirty, or any sort like that, unscrew it, dump it, make sure your O-ring's nice and tight, and screw it back on. The second thing to check is you're on your maintenance side. So let's just say, check your hours before you go to launch, or especially coming off winter and spring as we launch for this year. If it's been 80, 100 hours since the last time you had a raw water impeller, it might be time to get with your dealer for a change. That could prevent a situation to where you're overheating for the weekend and might put you out. So another thing to look at in an overheating situation is specifically with PCM on a ZZ5 or ZZ6 in this case, there are 3 quick disconnect hoses. They're on the starboard side, typically in this model next to your transmission, and you'll see it on a blue joint with your gray quick disconnect tabs right here. And occasionally you've seen maybe one of those weren't connected fully during your winterization process or something like that. If you see water coming out of that, hopefully you don't have coolant at this point, just simply turn the motor off if you haven't already and just plug it back in. 2 would probably be the second easiest to diagnose and fix would be if you get code SPN 111 FMI1, and that typically means you're low on coolant. So, and that can happen specifically on new boats, break-in service hours. Your coolant system will burp, especially this is a closed cooled motor, and I'll show you what to look for. So motor off. So I'm going to remove the port side storage tray. And as you can see, on this PCM engine, you've got a cool fill range to monitor. So right now we're in good position. This boat, like I said, only has 1 hour on it. But a lot of times between now and specifically that 20-hour break-in service time, you'll see it burp, and you might be, it'll definitely be low. You'll see that code pop up. Instead of freaking out, check that out. And in this case, if it needs to be a quick fix, get some distilled water and just fill it up until you get to the fill line. So hopefully some of those little tidbits helps you from having a bad weekend on the water, and preserving that family and making memories. Those are typically the top 3 things that we get asked on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and in most cases it's preventable. If you're in that hour range for an annual service, or you're coming up on a 300-hour service or anything big, contact your dealer. It might be a good time to do a summarization if you're coming off winterization. Just some of these small things, because you guys obviously work hard to play hard, can help you have a good fun weekend.